Hello, my fellow addicts. Um, for those who are hesitating to get into the NA Big Book, short for Narcotics Anonymous Big Book, I decided to read some literature out of the Big Book, so I'm going to go through it with you guys. Uh, this right here is it's the Blue Book. Uh, you can get it on Amazon. You could probably go to a meeting and get one. We're going to start off in this book on chapter 1, Who is an Addict? Um, so I want to start this off by saying the Serenity Prayer real quick. So let's have a moment of silence and say the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, please. So this is chapter 1 out of the Big Book of Narcotics Anonymous. Who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know. Our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. So the disease of more. No matter how much you have in life, no matter what it is, you just can't get enough of it. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. Um, an addictive behavior, the behaviors of addiction, is what you want to focus in on. I know, for me, um, when I put mind altering substances in my body, no matter what it is, I always use them uncontrollably. Um, I can't control it. No matter if it's coffee, cigarettes, candy, sugar, weed, alcohol, any type of hard drug, it doesn't matter what it is, sex, whatever causes my brain to feel pleasure in any form. And I use it so uncontrollably that it becomes a problem because it no longer feels good. Those of us who have found the program of Narcotics Anonymous do not have to think twice about the question, who is an addict? We know. The following is our experience. As addicts, we are people whose use of any mind altering, mood changing substance causes a problem in any area of life. Um, so it doesn't have to be just one thing. A lot of people the agnostics out there, or the people who are, they're unsure of um, whether or not they're an addict or not. A good way to think about it is, it's not about he had or she has a problem with that. I don't, so I'm not an addict. It's about centering in on your own problems and where your problems lie. try not to compare yourself with others, okay? Because their problems may not be your problem. Our commonality um, is that we have a problem. What that problem is does not matter, okay? What matters is that you have a disease of more, you are never satisfied um, with what you have. Um, if you have a cup of coffee, you have to have another one. If you have another one, why not drink another one after that? Oh, damn. You're 10 coffees deep. Now you're irritable, restless, and discontent. So let's go smoke some cigarettes. Oh, shit. What about the pack of cigarettes I smoked with the 10 cups of coffee? Shit. I need to smoke more now because the coffee's not working. Oh, damn. My mouth tastes like shit. I'm completely uh, carbon monoxide poisoned, and the cigarette's not working anymore. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go masturbate to some porn. Oh shit! I've masturbated to 100 porn videos. Now I'm feeling like shit, beating myself up because I've drank 10 cups of coffee. I've smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes in a half a day. I watched 100 porn videos. Well, now what am I gonna do? I might as well go smoke some weed. I gotta somehow make myself feel better because I'm just worthless and a piece of shit. So might as well just smoke some weed. All right, let's smoke a bag of weed. Oh shit, I'm out of weed. Now what am I gonna do? I might as well look on the floor for some crumbs that I dropped. Maybe I'll scrape my pipe. Oh shit, I already scraped my pipe. Well, we'll scrape it again and get some steel. You feel me? This is where it's going, okay? Oh shit. Oh, that's not working anymore. I might as well go buy some booze. Oh, okay. I bought some booze, now I'm drunk. But that don't matter because I want to drink until I pass out because I don't want to feel anymore. Oh shit. I gotta go to work. I got a hangover. I don't feel like going to work. I'm sick. Oh, we'll call out today. Why not? Oh, damn. Now I feel depressed because I didn't go to work. What am I gonna do? I need to change something in my life. That the whole what I'm trying to get at, okay, I'm trying to spell it out for you guys, but what I'm trying to get at is if you live your life in such a way where you have something you want to change about yourself, but you just can't, okay. For me, mine was smoking weed. Um, I don't want to smoke weed. It goes against my values. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to live as a couch potato. I don't I don't want it in my life. You know what I'm saying? But I can't stop. Um, I relapse all the time on smoking weed and drinking booze. Okay. Um, the pathology of that is if I don't want to smoke weed, why am I smoking it? I want to smoke it, but that's because I'm defiant. I'm defiant and I'm a rebel without a cause. You know what I mean? I want to be sneaky and deceitful. I want to have a secretive life. I want to be a vampire and suck off the souls of all my victims. Um, so it's like it's a part of the yin and the yang, be having that dark side, that dark story about yourself, that feeling like you're evil or bad or something. It's about feeling power and control. It's about, you know, we as human beings, the human condition is we don't like to feel powerless, okay? And that's a human condition. That's not just addicts or alcoholics. That's a human condition. We want power. Okay, so we thrive for power. We do whatever we can for power. And in all reality, we're all powerless over everything because we don't know where we're at. We don't know what this world is. We don't know why we're here, why God put us here, or whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, we do things for power, and so we revert to the dark side of things, okay? Um, because it makes us feel like we're in power somehow. We have some type of power over something. When we hold secrets, bad, good, whatever it may be, it makes us feel like we're powerful. Okay, the secrets have power. Okay, and so I I smoke the weed and I don't tell anybody, but at the end of the day, my conscience, okay, the godly gift, the spirit of God that flows through my conscience. My conscience is the is the spirit of the universe, you know? What tells me the difference between right and wrong. And so I know, I roll up a joint and I put it to my mouth, and the first thing I tell myself is, I shouldn't do this. I don't need to do this. Why would I do this? But I light it up anyway, you know? And so that's the pathology of it. That's how you know you're an addict. That's how I know I'm an addict, okay? Is that my first thought when I put a mind altering or mood altering substance to my mind, whether it be before or after the case, says I don't want to do it, but I continue to do it. That's pathology. That's why I'm an addict. Addiction is a disease that involves more than the use of drugs. Some of us believe that our disease was present long before the first time we used. Most of us did not consider ourselves addicted before coming to the Narcotics Anonymous program. The information available to us came from misinformed people. As long as we could stop using for a while, we thought we were all right. We looked at the stopping, not the using. As our addiction progressed, we thought of stopping less and less. Only in desperation did we ask ourselves, could it be the drugs? We did not choose to become addicts. We suffer from a disease that expresses itself in ways that are antisocial and that makes detection, diagnosis, and treatment difficult. Our disease isolated us from people, except when we were getting, using, and finding ways and means to get more. Hostile, resentful, self centered, and self seeking, we cut ourselves off from the outside world. Anything not completely familiar became alien and dangerous. Our world shrank and isolation became our life. We used in order to survive. It was the only way of life that we knew. Some of us used, misused, and abused drugs and still did not consider ourselves addicts. Through all of this, we kept telling ourselves, I can handle it. Our misconceptions about the nature of addiction included visions of violence, street crimes, dirty needles, and jail. So in other words, when we're addicted, okay, um, there may be violence, there may be street crime, dirty needles in jail, institutions, death, or even something minimal. It doesn't have to be extreme. It could be anything that regards pathology, whatever causes a problem for you. When our addiction was treated as a crime or moral deficiency, we became rebellious and were driven deeper into isolation. Some of the highs felt great, but eventually the things that we had to do to continue using reflected desperation. We all know about that wild walk in the middle of January in 20-degree weather, in the middle of a blizzard to get that bag. We were caught in the grip of our disease. We were forced to survive any way that we could. We manipulated people and tried to control everything around us. We lied, stole, cheated, and sold ourselves. And that goes for those who did. If you didn't lie, cheat, or sell yourself, I'm sure if you think and be truly honest with yourself, you can pull out some things that you have done that you regret, or drugs, or because of drugs. One aspect of our addiction was our inability to deal with life on life's terms. We tried drugs and combinations of drugs to cope with a seemingly hostile world. We dreamed of finding a magic formula that would solve our ultimate problem ourselves. The fact was that we could not use any mind altering or mood changing substance, including marijuana and alcohol, successfully. Drugs ceased to make us feel good. So, okay, as an addict, if you are one, and I'm not saying you are, but if you are one, if you're honest with yourself, that no matter what you're doing for a mind altering substance, you cross that threshold at one point in time where it's just not doing the trick anymore. We all know that. I know that. All of us addicts in Narcotics Anonymous know that. Because we wouldn't be in Narcotics Anonymous if it didn't. At times, we were defensive about our addiction and justified our right to use, especially when we had legal prescriptions. We were proud of the sometimes illegal and often bizarre behavior that typified our using. We forgot about the times when we sat alone and were consumed by fear and self pity. We fell into a pattern of selective thinking. We only remembered the good drug experiences. We justified and rationalized the things that we did to keep from being sick or going crazy. We ignored the times when life seemed to be a nightmare. We avoided the reality of our addiction. Higher mental and emotional functions, such as conscience and the ability to love, were sharply affected by our use of drugs. Living skills were reduced to the animal level. Our spirit was broken. The capacity to feel human was lost. This seems extreme, but many of us have been in this state of mind. We were constantly searching for the answer. That person, place, or thing that would make everything all right. We lacked the ability to cope with daily living as our addiction progressed. Many of us found ourselves in and out of institutions. These experiences indicated that there was something wrong with our lives. We wanted an easy way out. Some of us thought of suicide. Our attempts were usually feeble and only helped to contribute to our feelings of worthlessness. We were trapped in the illusion of what if only, and just one more time. When we did seek help, we were only looking for the absence of pain. We had regained good physical health many times, only to lose it again and again. Our track record shows that it is impossible for us to use successfully. No matter how well we may appear to be in control, using drugs always brings us to our knees. Like other incurable diseases, addiction can be arrested. We agree that there is nothing shameful about being an addict, provided we accept our dilemma honestly and take positive action. We are willing to admit without reservation that we are allergic to drugs. Common sense tells us that it would be insane to go back to the source of our allergy. Our experience indicates that medicine cannot cure our illness. Although physical and mental tolerance play a role, many drugs require no extended period of use to trigger allergic reactions. Our reactions to drugs is what makes us addicts, not how much we use. And I want to get this straight. If you're on psychotropic meds, if you take meds for your mental illness, don't go off them. Um, that's my suggestion. I am schizophrenic and I take meds. And if it's causing, if you're having side effects, major side effects, and you're just not feeling good, you could probably safely go off them because they're not working right. But make sure you get in contact when you do go off them. Because I'm not going to tell you to take prescribed meds if they're giving you side effects. You shouldn't have to. That's not something that mental health providers want you to go through. Um, you just have to find the right meds. And so if you're having side effects, I suggest you do stop your meds, but immediately get in touch with your psychiatrist, your doctor, and tell them that you went off your meds and that they're not working or they're giving you side effects and that you would like to try something else. It's all about being clear and honest with your providers, okay? I'm taking Trilofon right now. It's perfenazine, generic perfenazine. It's Trilofon. It works for me. I take Trilofon and Zoloft, and I don't have any issues. I've been on all kinds of different meds. I've been on Latuda. Um, I've been on Abilify. I've been on Risperidol and Vegas. I mean, I've done a lot of. I've taken a lot of prescribed meds, and perfenazine works well for me. Okay, it is a good med, and I like that med. It helps um, keep me baseline. I haven't had any side effects, but it may not work for you. You may need to try something and keep trying until you find something that works for you. Um, and that's if you suffer with a mental illness. Uh, I don't believe that if I don't believe people have the right or authority to tell you not to take prescribed meds if you have a mental illness, because I, as a schizophrenic, couldn't imagine being off my meds. I would lose touch of reality, and if they don't have a mental illness and they don't know what it's like to have auditory hallucinations and experience the unreal or unknown, then they shouldn't have the authority to tell you what to do with your prescribed meds. Anyway, moving forward. Many of us did not think that we had a problem with drugs until the drugs ran out. Even when others told us that, um, excuse me, I'm going to take a quick break. I wanted to get through this chapter, but I don't want to rush it. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back with you guys in a little bit to finish up this chapter. Many of us did not think that we had a problem with drugs until the drugs ran out. Even when others told us that we had a problem, we were convinced that we were right and the world was wrong. We used this belief to justify our self-destructive behavior. We developed a point of view that enabled us to pursue our addiction without concern for our own well-being or the well-being of others. We began to feel that the drugs were killing us long before we could ever admit it to anyone else. We noticed that if we tried to stop using, we couldn't. We suspected that we had lost control over the drugs and had no power to stop. Certain things followed as we continued to use. We became accustomed to a state of mind that is common to addicts. We forgot what it was like before we started using. We forgot about social graces. We acquired strange habits and mannerisms. We forgot how to work. We forgot how to play. We forgot how to express ourselves and how to show concern for others. We forgot how to feel. While using, we lived in another world. We experienced only periodic jolts of reality or self-awareness. It seemed that we were at least two people instead of one. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We ran around and tried to get our lives together before our next run. Sometimes we could do this very well, but later it was less important and more impossible. In the end, Dr. Jekyll died and Mr. Hyde took over. Each of us has a few things that we never did. We cannot let these things become excuses to use again. Some of us feel lonely because of differences between us and other members. This feeling makes it difficult to give up old connections and old habits. We all have different tolerances for pain. Some addicts needed to go to greater extremes than others. Some of us found that we had enough when we realized that we were getting high too often and it was affecting our daily lives. At first, we were using in a manner that seemed to be social, or at least controllable. We had little indication of the disaster that the future held for us. At some point, our using became uncontrollable and antisocial. This began when things were going well and when we were in situations that allowed us to use frequently. This was usually the end of the good times. We may have tried to moderate, substitute, or even stop using, but we went from a stage of drugged success and well-being to complete spiritual, mental, and emotional bankruptcy. This rate of decline varies from addict to addict. Whether it occurs in years or days, it is all downhill. Those of us who don't die from the disease will go on to prison, mental institutions, or complete demoralization as the disease progresses. Drugs had given us the feeling that we could handle whatever situation might develop. We became aware, however, that drug usage was largely responsible for some of our worst predicaments. Some of us may spend the rest of our lives in jail for drug-related crime. We had to reach our bottom before we were willing to stop. We were finally motivated to seek help in the later stage of our addiction. Then it was easier for us to see the destruction, disaster, and delusion of our using. It was harder to deny our addiction when problems were staring us in the face. Some of us first saw the effects of addiction on the people closest to us. We were very dependent on them to carry us through life. We felt angry, disappointed, and hurt when they found other interests, friends, and loved ones. We regretted the past, dreaded the future, and we weren't too thrilled about the present. After years of searching, we were more unhappy and less satisfied than when it all began. Our addiction enslaved us. We were prisoners of our own mind and were condemned by our own guilt. We gave up the hope that we would ever stop using drugs. Our attempts to stay clean always failed, causing us pain and misery. As addicts, we have an incurable disease called addiction. The disease is chronic, progressive, and fatal. However, it is a treatable disease. We feel that each individual has to answer the question, am I an addict? How we got the disease is of no immediate importance to us. We are concerned with recovery. We begin to treat our addiction by not using. Many of us sought answers but failed to find any working solution until we found each other. Once we identify ourselves as addicts, help becomes possible. We can see a little of ourselves in every addict and see a little of them in us. This insight lets us help one another. Our future seemed hopeless until we found clean addicts who were willing to share it with us. Denial of our addiction kept us sick, but our honest admission of addiction enabled us to stop using. The people of Narcotics Anonymous told us that they were recovering addicts who had learned to live without drugs. If they could do it, so could we. The only alternatives to recovery are jails, institutions, dereliction, and death. Unfortunately, our disease makes us deny our addiction. If you are an addict, you can find a new way of life through the NA program. We have become very grateful in the course of our recovery, through abstinence and through working the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. Our lives have been useful. We realize that we are never cured. We realize that we are never cured and that we carry the disease within us for the rest of our lives. We have a disease, but we do recover. Each day we are given another chance. We are convinced that there is only one way for us to live, and that is the NA way. And that is chapter 1 of the NA Big Book. Who is an addict? I'm definitely an addict. I know I'm an addict because of my experience with drugs and alcohol. I can clearly see the addictive behaviors in my day-to-day life. No doubt about it. I'm dealing with that right now. I will deal with it for the rest of my life. I will always be a recovering addict. But it's not perfect. I'm not perfect, you know. Um, I, it's 11:30 at night, and I'm still drinking coffee. I've been drinking coffee all day. I took a nap because I drank so much coffee. I put myself into an irritable mood, and I was tired. On top of that, and so I took a nap, woke up refreshed, and I started drinking coffee again. It's like I never learned. I'm aware of it. I just can't stop. Um, Coffee is the least of my worries, however, because it's not like, I mean, I doubt I mean, it is a problem because it's a mood altering substance, and so I know that, and because I know caffeine is a mood altering substance, I'm gonna abuse it. You know what I'm saying? I smoke cigarettes. I smoked my brains out today. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I'm not perfect, and just because I make these videos doesn't mean I'm a saint. I'm not a saint. Don't ever think I am. I'm in recovery as so as you are, and so I am aware of that. I will pray tonight before I go to bed. I will thank God for giving me the ability to push through. I say God as a short term for my higher power. It's not God as in the religious God. I believe in the spirit of the universe. I believe there's a supreme energy that rules over the universe, and I must believe that it's alive and breathing. And I clearly see that looking at this world that there's something about it that is alive and breathing. So, um, I can assume that there's some type of energy. Um, and so I just believe in that and I tap into that energy. My conscience, you know what I mean? That's what keeps me connected. And so I won't beat myself up for for failing at controlling my coffee use and caffeine intake and cigarette smoke. Um, but I am aware, you know what I mean? And that's the first step in changing myself and changing my habits. Um, I may wake up tomorrow and do the same thing. Um, but, you know, as long as I continue to stay chipped into that energy and pray, and have hope and faith that I can change myself. You know what I mean? Change my habits. I'm changing them slowly. Um, it's just it takes time. It takes time. You're not gonna just wake up and all of a sudden be cured of your disease. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be dealing with this for a very long time to come, for the rest of your life at that, and we have to. It's a daily reprieve. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I only have the day. I only have the moment. So it's like, you know, I just came out of the psychiatric hospital for a relapse. You know what I mean? So I'm enjoying the coffee and cigarettes. I went 3 weeks in a day without coffee and a cigarette. So, I'm giving myself a break, but I'm gonna look back at the day and I'm gonna look back at tomorrow at the end of tomorrow, and eventually I'm gonna say, hey, look, I gotta make a change. I'm not gonna just quit coffee. I may just buy decaf and caffeinated and you know uh, mix them all together. You know, and just drink half caffeinated, half, take a jar of coffee, dump half of it out, put some decaf in it, mix it around, and have half the caffeine. Um, you know, I may switch to decaf after 3 p.m. if I want coffee, So there's always strategies. Cigarettes. Um, cigarettes are a hard one, because I'm addicted, but, it's at the end of the day, you know, what can you do? I'm trying. You know what I mean? I'm trying. That's all I can do is just try. Um, just keep trying. Um, if I continue to smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, it may trigger me to crave smoking weed or drinking booze. It may trigger me to go back into my old sneaky, deceitful, insidious behaviors. I got to make sure I'm aware that, these are mind altering, mood altering substances, and that it could trigger me to have some cravings for the use of drugs and alcohol. Um, there's always so much worse out there that I could do. And when it becomes a problem, it becomes a problem. I have to step back and look at that. You know, go to a meeting, say my prayers, have some meditation. Um, when I'm feeling irritable, restless, and discontent, I like putting on, shamanic music, just old drums and some harmonious music and just smooth, just chill with it. It's about staying busy. I have to stay busy and stay occupied. I haven't really done much since I just got out yesterday. And, I sat indoors all day in my room pretty much and did nothing. So, what are you going to do? You have to stay busy. I'm working on building a schedule for myself right now. I got some groups, um, support groups that I'm going to be going to and stuff. I got to get outside myself and outside my room and stay busy. You know, boredom is a killer. It's the number one killer for addicts. And so we as addicts, we're not perfect people. Just because we're recovering doesn't mean we're saints. We could step out off that wagon any day of the week. You know, remember, it's not a moral deficiency. We we don't use because we have a choice. We don't stop because we don't have a choice. Okay. Um, we have a choice to stop, but we can't. It's not possible for us. It becomes our way of survival. Can you just stop breathing the air? You know, can you just tell your heart to stop beating? That's how drugs and alcohol work for an addict. It's drugs and alcohol for our addict are essentially their heart beating. We can't just tell our heart to stop beating. You know, we need that shit. It's a part of who we are. We as addicts. My sponsor once told me that we as alcoholics. We are alcoholics, so therefore we believe internally, unconsciously, that when our mind is impaired, we are normal. Okay, we are normal people when we drink. We are normal people when we use drugs. We are normal. We use and drink to be normal because we're alcoholics, we're addicts. We are normal when we use and drink. So when we're not using and drinking, we don't feel normal. So we have issues with that. You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with that? A normal person drinks a drink or smokes a joint and they don't feel normal anymore. They feel high, they feel drunk, so they know to stop. We don't. We continue on because we believe that's our survival. It makes us feel normal. When we're not using, when we're using and drinking, we essentially feel like that person that isn't using or drinking. When we are not drinking and using, we feel like there's something wrong with us. We need help. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be honest with yourself and ask for help. If you're not using and drinking alcohol and drugs and you feel like you need help, then ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm independent. I've taken care of myself. I've taken care of myself my whole life. I don't want to ask for help because I want power. I want control of my life. I'm not fucking stupid. You know what I mean? I can take care of myself, god damn it. But at the end of the day, I need to ask for help when I need help because I can't do it alone. I can't. I am powerless over I am powerless over my life. My finances, I can't budget my finances. When I got money, I spend it right out the window. I can't keep a fucking $20 bill in my wallet for the life of me. I binge spend. When I got food, if I go out and order a fucking poo-poo for two, okay, I'm gonna eat the entire fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't have control. I'm powerless. My life is unmanageable. I can't hold money. I can't stop eating. I can't stop drinking coffee. I can't stop smoking. I can't stop using drugs and alcohol. I can't stop having sex. I can't manage relationships. I don't know what the fuck boundaries are. I don't know how to say no to people. You know? My women walk all over me. They love it. It's because my life is unmanageable. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I can't do it alone. I need people that I can trust. And my fellows in NA are my people that I can trust in AA. They're my people. They're the ones who got my back. Because they know they are me. You know what I'm saying? They will be there. They will give me their shirt off my back when I'm cold. I mean, they will give me their shirt off their back when I'm cold. So that's what it's about. And I got providers. I got a caseworker. I got a psychiatrist. I got a therapist. I got a whole administration, that will help me when I need help. And I need to ask for help when I need help. And because my life is unmanageable and I can't go alone, I got my support network. And I suggest if you're an addict or an alcoholic, you find a support network. You got to get a sponsor. You got to get them friends. You got to get them phone numbers. You got to get people that got your back when you need help. Because when you're not using drugs and drinking, you need help. Believe me on this. We are alcoholics and addicts, and we need help when we don't got that shit. That's just the way of it. Okay? And we will always continue to need help. So we help each other. And that's why I'm making these videos for you guys. And so that's the first chapter in the NA Big Book, Who's an Addict? And I love it because I clearly know I'm an addict. So anyway, guys, that's enough for now out of me. I will post this out there, and I'll probably go through the entire Big Book, and then I'm probably gonna read the AA Big Book and the DRA book and all that stuff. So, if you like it, subscribe. Give me some subscriptions and continue on. Thanks, guys. Oh, I will end this video with the Serenity Prayer. So let's have a moment of silence, followed by the Serenity Prayer. We will pray for those sick and suffering addicts and alcoholics who may never find the rooms. Please, higher power, Spirit of the universe, whatever you may be, if there is such a thing, please Help those sick and suffering addicts and alcoholics who may never find the rooms. Let them find peace. Let them find love. Let them love. Let them eat. Let them sleep well. Keep them warm through this cold day, or keep them cool if they're in a place where they're hot. Give them something to drink. Give them some water. God, I love you with all my heart, and I know you love me. Let me be a vessel for you. Let me carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous to these fellows. Let me help the addicts and alcoholics suffering that may think that they are hopeless. Let me do thy work and thy will. Please, God, watch over my people, and if they do not find a way, let them go home. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, please. Thank you guys for watching.